In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this stylish halter neck basque dress with flare. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's. So to start, here is my pattern, and I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurements, which includes my shoulder to bust, under bust to waist, and I added at least 4 to 5 inches for my basque. So after I'm done marking this, the next step is to go ahead to mark my measurements. So for my shoulder measurement is 14 divided by 2, I have 7. I'll come down by 1 inch, place my ruler. Before going ahead to mark, I'll mark out my basic neckline of 3 inches and connect. I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches.
Ahead to mark out a straight line at that point, and I'll mark back what I have on the shoulder. It's my shoulder circumference divided by 2, and I'll place my ruler back and I'll go ahead to draw out a straight line. So after doing that, I'll go ahead to divide my armhole into 2 and mark. Then I'll come in by ½ inch. Here I'm going to go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'm going to place a curve drill connecting from that point to the ½ inch and to the upper part of my pattern. The next step I'll take is to go ahead to mark my dart. Start by marking my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5. So I'm going to mark this from the upper part to the lower part of my pattern, and I'm going to place my ruler to draw a straight line. Now I'll be marking the dart intake, which is 1 inch on both sides. So this is a princess dart. You can go ahead to mark ½ inch here and 1.5 inches at the other side, or 1 inch here and 2 inches on the other side for a plus size person. So any way that suits you, you can go ahead to do that. I'm going to place my curve drill from the bust down to the under bust. Now I'm also going to repeat this at the other side. Then from where I have the midpoint of my armhole, I will connect. I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides, and I'm going to blend this down. After blending, this ½ inch I took out, I'll extend it. That is ½ inch on both sides, giving me 1 inch. I'll extend it and connect to the armhole. Now I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, replace this 1 inch dart intake and add my sewing allowance. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, which is 28 divided by 4. Measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Here I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4. Measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. I'll place my ruler to connect, and then I'll come in by my sewing allowance before blending out for my dart. So I'll blend in my dart and I'll go ahead to draw out the basque. So for the basque, you can use 4 to 5 inches. Now I'll go ahead to connect to the tip this way. And after I'm done connecting, I'm going to move over to the upper part. Now to work on the neckline of this upper part. So I'll go ahead and come down a bit from my bust line. So I'm supposed to come down more, but there's a ruche there which will add the elastic to drag the neckline. So that's why I left it at this point. So by the time I add an elastic, it's going to go lower. So at the upper part, I'll measure at least 2 inches, and from there I'm going to connect it to the bust side of my pattern. Now I'll go ahead to use my marker to outline this part of my pattern. So while outlining here, I came out by ½ inch a bit, because while joining your pattern sometimes the center part seems to be a bit longer than that of the side. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. This is what we have for the front. Now moving over to the back pattern, I've gone ahead to mark out all the basic measurements, which is my shoulder to bust, shoulder to waistline. So for this pattern, I'll just go ahead to cut it as a dartless pattern. I'll insert my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Mark my waist circumference divided by 4, add my sewing allowance, and I'll connect. So I'll also cut out from the chest line. So for this pattern, you can go ahead to add the zipper by the side of the pattern. So for this side of my pattern, I'll go ahead to measure my waistline. So to cut the flay part, you need to like shape your dress. After that, that is after you're done sewing, you measure the remaining waistline. So what I have there is 8 inches on fold for the front waistline, and for the back waistline minus your sewing allowance, that is what you're also going to use for the waistline. That is after you're done sewing, you're going to measure the waistline from the basque to the side of your pattern and the waistline at the back also. So whatever you have here, just know that is on fold, but you're going to cut them separately. So for the front I have 8 inches and for the back I have 7 inches. That 8 inches is on fold giving me 16, and the back is on fold 7 inches giving me 14 inches. Now you want to cut your pattern in a 360 flay form, so you fold your pattern into 4. So I folded once and I folded again. So now that waistline for the front, which is 8 inches, you're going to divide that 8 inches by 4. So because I'm using a smaller pattern paper, I'll just use a smaller number. So let's say I'm using 4 inches, which is our waistline. So you're going to divide that 4 inches by 4, and whatever you have, you're going to place it and draw out a rough curve on that point with your tape. That means that 8 inches you have for the waistline of the front, which is into 2, meaning is 16 inches, you divide it by 4, and whatever you have, you draw a rough curve. Then place your tape at the tip of the other end. Whatever measurement you have, you're going to take it all the way around so that you can draw an accurate semicircle. So go ahead to measure from your waist to where you want your dress to stop. Then go ahead to place it at the upper part and then take the full length of your dress, including adding ½ inch for turn up allowance or folding allowance, and also extra ½ inch for joining allowance at the upper part. So if you cut this out now, you're going to open it up this way and it's a semicircle. Now you cut it open. So this part now is for the front. You're going to attach the center of this pattern to the center of your basque dress, going towards the other side. Then the other side of the fabric will go towards the other of the basque waistline. So you're also going to use this method to cut out the back. That is, you cut out the flay for the back separately also and join to the waistline of the back.